Before you can truly appreciate anime as a medium, you need a foundation. These 10 anime are not only great watches, but they also create mega fandoms. You finish these stories quickly because they immediately pull you in. If you're new to anime, this is your entry point. Even if you're a vet, these are where it all started. This is the ultimate anime bucket list, your complete guide to the anime that matter most. Pokémon is the most recognizable anime franchise on the planet, and before you say anything else, yes, it's technically a kid's show. But Mewtwo Strikes Back? Well, that's a different conversation. Ash and his crew get invited to a mysterious island, and what starts as a typical Pokémon adventure gets very dark very fast. We're talking about a very, very furious Pokémon in Mewtwo who wants revenge on all of humanity, and to be honest, he's kind of got a point. Mewtwo Strikes Back hits in ways you just don't expect from a kid's film, and there's one scene in particular. If you've seen it, you know already, but if you haven't, then you will know it when you see it. Despite how dark this film is, Team Rocket still somehow brings that comedic gravitas to make things so silly when it needs to the most. And they do it by being completely useless, and that's the reason why this film works so well. Look, if you want to experience the magic of the original Pokémon series, albeit with a darker tone and flair, without committing to hundreds of episodes, this is your cheat code. Yes, I know. Avatar: The Last Airbender is technically not an anime, but I'm including it anyway, and here's why. The Last Airbender is one of the most beautifully constructed adventure stories ever made. In a world where most people can control one of the 4 elements, there's one boy named Aang who can bend all 4 elements at once. And only he can stop a fire-wielding fascist from spreading his militaristic empire across the entire world. This cartoon is pretty heavy, tackling themes like genocide and imperialism, but somehow maintains a level of charm and humor that'll keep you coming back for more. One thing American cartoons are not known for is complexity, but in this one, every character has layers. Especially Aang, who spends the entire series wrestling with a destiny he never asked for. Sound familiar? That's because it's anime DNA through and through. The animation, the emotional depth, the storytelling. Avatar didn't just inspire itself from anime, it mastered the formula. And that's exactly why it makes this list. If you've never watched a single anime in your life, then start with this one. Isekai is one of the biggest genres of anime right now. Characters getting transported to another world, reborn as spiders, slime, and even vending machines. And yes, that last one is real. Isekai is absolutely everywhere, and you can thank Sword Art Online for that. This anime dropped in 2012 with a concept that was genuinely unlike anything else at the time. Thousands of players were trapped inside a VR game where dying in the game means dying in real life. This premise alone created some legitimately tense and compelling television. The stakes feel real, the world building is vast, and that first season pulls you in fast. Now I'm going to be honest with you because that's what we do around here. The further you get into this franchise, the more complicated things do get. The MC gets increasingly overpowered for no real reason. The inconsistent writing and even the female characters deserve so much better than they do. But that first season, still worth it. That's because SAO at the time opened the door to something that was fresh and unique and obviously interesting to the anime community overall, despite not being the pioneer of the isekai genre. While isekai has become an oversaturated mess nowadays, you should know that SAO is where the genre really made its mark. If you grew up on Marvel or DC Comics, then My Hero Academia is for you. It's a coming-of-age story set in a world where people are born with powers that can make you control human flesh, shoot lasers out of your navel, or even tape. However, Midoriya is the rare exception, born with no superpowers whatsoever. But that all changes when he crosses paths with the world's greatest hero and sets him on a course that will forever change his life. What makes My Hero work so well as a starter anime is the fact that the story is completely frictionless. You know superheroes, you know the underdog story. My Hero Academia takes these concepts to a whole new level. Note, while this ensemble cast is enormous, and I mean enormous, everyone still gets their moment in the spotlight. The action is beautifully animated, and the emotional beats hit harder than you'd expect from your typical shonen. And the best news of all is that My Hero Academia is now a completed series, so you can binge watch it all to your entirety. And trust me, you'll want to. Now let's talk about one of the best modern anime rom-coms, and it's not even close. Kaguya and Miyuki are two exceptional students at their prestigious academy. Brilliant, ambitious, and co-leaders of the student council. They're also completely and hopelessly in love with each other. There's just one problem. Neither of them will admit it. And it's not because they're shy. It's not because they're oblivious creatures. It's because they're so extraordinarily stubborn that they feel if they are the first to admit it, then they lose the battle. And if you haven't noticed already, neither of them like losing. So instead, they dedicate an absurd amount of their genius to engineer situations to make the other confess. And the lengths they go to are completely unhinged. I don't know about you, but watching two incredibly smart people be incredibly stupid about love, it just never gets old. It also holds a pretty unique distinction. In its first 3 seasons, it's either won Best Comedy or Best Romance at the Crunchyroll Awards. And look, that's pretty impressive. And I wouldn't be surprised if that trend does continue. The animation is stylish, the comedic timing is sharp, and every episode finds a new way to make that same premise feel fresh. Kaguya-sama is one of those anime that just find that right balance between comedy and romance and just does it oh so well. And I have yet to find a single episode of this anime that I didn't enjoy. Before Demon Slayer became a box office juggernaut, a little film about 2 strangers switching bodies made $350 million worldwide. Let that sink in. $350 million from a director most people haven't even heard of at that time. Your Name follows a girl in rural Japan and a boy in Tokyo who wake up in each other's bodies one day. No explanation, no warning. Just, surprise! You're another person today. Yippee-ki-yay. And what starts as a silly, quirky premise transforms into a thing you absolutely won't see coming. And that's what makes Makoto Shinkai, the creator of this movie, so talented. Each of his films always have some sort of trick up its sleeve. A budding romance surrounded by some strange phenomena, and you'll typically see a cat or two as well. Your Name is the perfect first anime because it gives you everything the medium does best. Stunning animation, genuine emotion, and a story that respects your intelligence. If you know someone who thinks anime is just about fights, show them this film and I'll tell you, they'll be singing a different tune. When it comes to giant robot anime, many people will probably tell you to watch Evangelion first. Don't! Look, there's no arguing that Evangelion is a masterpiece. But existential dread is not how you exactly introduce someone into mecha anime. Instead, start with the other giant robot anime series that same studio, Gainax, created, Gurren Lagann. Because this anime has one goal and one goal only: to get you hype. The setup is simple. Humanity has been forced underground by a powerful enemy. Two guys find a robot and decide this whole lifestyle is just not gonna work for them anymore. What follows is the most aggressively unapologetic hype anime you'll ever watch. Banger soundtrack, explosive fights, and a dialogue so over the top that it wraps all the way around back to genuinely inspiring. And most of them come from my man Kamina, who moves like he's already won the fight before it even began. I love Gurren Lagann because it knows what it is and commits to it full stop. There are many smarter, deeper anime than this one. But nothing, and I mean nothing, hits harder the first time you watch it than Gurren Lagann. And my only regret is that I can never experience watching this anime for the first time ever again. Some anime tell incredible stories. Some anime play incredible music. Some anime make worlds you'll want to live in. Cowboy Bebop does all three simultaneously and makes it look like a walk in the park. Its creator, Shinichiro Watanabe, built his career blending genres in ways nobody would have thought possible. On paper, a neo-noir space western about bounty hunters with jazz influence seems like gobbledygook. But it absolutely works. The story follows a ragtag crew aboard the Bebop who are just trying to make ends meet. But each of them is carrying a past that they can't shake. Like Spike Spiegel, a former crime syndicate member haunted by the love he lost. Watching his and the rest of the crew's stories unravel is pretty compelling stuff. And then there's the music. This classic doesn't work without the legendary talents of composer Yoko Kanno. Her ability to create a soundtrack that shifts tonally by scene is criminally underrated. And her signature track, Tank, with her band The Seatbelts, is one of the most iconic opening themes to an anime of all time. And one more thing, watch the English dub. Steve Bloom's voice is Spike Spiegel, and I have a legion of Toonami fans who will agree with me wholeheartedly. He captures the cool yet complicated personality of the main character in a way that just works. It's one of those rare moments where the dub actually outpaces the original voice acting in an anime. Most people who know anime speak very highly about Cowboy Bebop, and it's no coincidence. Heck, it's even in my top 3. If someone who's never watched a lick of anime in their life asks me for a recommendation, my answer will always be the same. Watch Death Note. It doesn't feel like your prototypical anime, and the premise is pretty simple. Honor roll student Light Yagami finds a notebook that kills anyone whose name is written in it. It works real well. And very quickly, Light decides that a little power like this just shouldn't go to waste. And you know that saying, the United Negro College Fund, a mind is a terrible thing to waste? Well, look, when it comes to Light, he believes this power is definitely not one you should waste. What follows is a journey of a brilliant psychopath avoiding his own capture because he's 100% convinced he's doing the right thing. However, the one trying to capture him is a prodigy who is every bit as odd as he is genius. Every episode raises the stakes so effortlessly, and it leaves you wanting to watch that next episode pretty quickly. If you love that slow burn of Breaking Bad, that cat and mouse tension, Death Note is going to hit you that same way. Not to mention, this compulsively watchable thriller just so happens to be animated. You know what? This would make a really good live action adaptation. Yeah, maybe not. If Death Note just sold you an anime, and I have a feeling it did, then you already know we have a lot more ground to cover. Subscribe now so you don't miss what's coming. 10 more episodes, 10 more themes. We're just getting warmed up. We're closing out our Essential Starters kit with the one anime that proved to the world that it has no ceiling whatsoever. In just 7 years, Kimetsu no Yaiba has become one of the biggest entertainment franchises on the planet. I mean, the top 2 highest grossing anime films of all time belong to this franchise. And I'm willing to bet the rest of the movies that come out here will do the same exact thing. A young boy comes home after a long day working to find his entire family slaughtered, except his younger sister who's turned into a demon. Visibly heartbroken, he vows to find a cure for his sister and destroy the demon responsible. And that simplicity is what makes this anime so freaking popular. Not to mention the fights are glorious. Oh, so glorious. Fluid, cinematic, color-soaked sequences. Each battle feels like it was created by a team who had a real point to prove, and it becomes oh so poignant when you watch episode 19. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you will. The emotional stakes feel real, and the characters are so captivating. Well, most of the characters. Demon Slayer is the easiest yes to watch in this entire list. Beautiful, emotional, and endlessly rewatchable. If this is the first anime you ever watched, then welcome aboard. You couldn't have picked a better start. 10 anime, all different, all essential. Whether you're just getting started or you're an anime watching vet, you need to watch every one of these anime before you start anything else. Now here's what I want from you. Pick one of these anime, any old one, and watch it. Then tell me your thoughts about it in the comments. Or if you've seen all of them, tell me which one was the one that started it for you. I genuinely want to know. 10 down, 91 to go. This is the ultimate anime bucket list, and if you don't want to miss a single one, then you know what to do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.